Hello, everyone. The topic of my presentation is mortality of septic shock, secondary to pediatric primary peritonitis predicted by respiratory quotient combined with lactate, a survey from two children's hospitals in Northwest China. As is well known, pediatric sepsis is a life-threatening condition with extremely high incidence and mortality among critically ill children worldwide. Patients with septic shock are susceptible to intestinal complications due to altered blood flow distribution, and these complications often correlate directly with a poor prognosis. Early detection of low perfusion and appropriate resuscitation are critical components in the management of patients experiencing shock. While central venous oxygen saturation, SCVO2, monitoring is frequently advocated. It remains a subject of scrutiny. All pathophysiological mechanisms are intricately linked to cellular hypoxia and energy metabolism, which is why metabolic-related biomarkers, particularly lactate and lactate clearance rate, physiological indicators, particularly those associated with cell energy metabolism, have shown potentials in predicting sepsis and septic shock. The application of this advanced microcirculation measurement methods in clinical settings has been limited. Therefore, we need practical clinical alternative indicators. Blood gas analysis related to systemic oxygen metabolism and its derivative indicators can reflect the relationship between tissue oxygen delivery volume, DO2, and consumption volume, VO2, thereby providing alternative tools for microcirculation assessment and hemodynamic optimization during sepsis resuscitation. The DO2-VO2 balance is a cornerstone of hemodynamic stability. The relationship between carbon dioxide production and oxygen consumption can be evaluated by respiratory quotient. This was a retrospective study. A total of 82 patients diagnosed with septic shock secondary to pediatric primary peritonitis were included in our study. Among them, 4 patients died with 22 hours. 3 were prematurely discontinued treatment upon the request of their guardians. 2 presented congenital intestinal malformations, 2 with congenital abnormal metabolism, one with another type of congenital disease, 3 with drug policy, and 4 treated with ongoing immunosuppressive therapy. After including them, 63 eligible patients were finally conducted in this study. Data from 63 eligible participants involving 30 males and 33 females were included in this study and assigned into the survival group. The number is 47, and the non-survival group, the number is 16, based on the 28-day all-cause mortality. These patients were admitted to the intensive care unit of the 2 children's hospital between December 2016 and December 2021. Demographic and clinical data were compared. Risk factors for the prognosis of septic shock secondary to pediatric primary peritonitis were identified by logistic regression and their potentials in predicting the 28-day survival well assessed by the receiver operation, characteristic and Kaplan-Meier survival curves. From table 1, we can see there were no significant difference in gender, age, weight, and distribution of pathogenic bacteria between groups. In the non-survival group, the proportions of patients with septic shock receiving mechanical ventilation, surgical intervention, and vasoactive drugs were significantly higher than those in the survival group. From table 2, we can see in comparison to the survival group, the non-survival group showed significantly higher PCT, APTT, lactate, p-SOFA score, and PRISM-3 score, but lower PLT, FIB, and MAP. Univariate logistic regression analysis revealed that respiratory quotient, p-SOFA score, lactate, and PCT was significantly correlated with mortality. Later, multivariate logistic regression confirmed that respiratory quotient and lactate were identified as independent risk factors for the prognosis of septic shock secondary to pediatric primary peritonitis. Based on the cutoff value of lactate 3.96 millimole per liter, ROC curves showed that lactate was able to predict the death from septic shock secondary to pediatric primary peritonitis with a sensitivity of 88% and a specificity of 91%. Similarly, respiratory quotient predicted the death sensitivity 90% and specifically 93% at a cut-off value of 1.6. Participants were assigned into low lactic group less than 4 millimole per liter and the high lactate group more than or equal to 4 millimole per liter according to the cutoff value. The 28-day cumulative survival was significantly higher in the low lactate group than the high lactate group. They were further assigned into respiratory quotient less than 1.6 group and an respiratory quotient more than or equal to 1.6 group and a low level of respiratory quotient provided a higher survival benefit. Stratified by respiratory quotient combined with lactate, the patients were assigned into 4 groups as follows. From the figures, we can see the probability of survival in respiratory quotient less than 1.6 plus lactate less than 4 millimole per liter. Group 93.33%. Respiratory quotient less than 1.6 plus lactate more than or equal to 4 millimole per liter. 66.75%. Respiratory quotient more than or equal to 1.6 plus lactate less than 4 millimole per liter group. 69.21% were higher than that in respiratory quotient more than or equal to 1.6 plus lactate more than or equal to 4 millimole per liter group. 45.52%. Notably, the highest 28-day cumulative survival was detected in the respiratory quotient less than 1.6 plus lactate less than 4 millimole per liter group. The cumulative mortality of 54.5% in respiratory quotient more than or equal to 1.6 plus lactate more than or equal to 4 millimole per liter group was higher than that in respiratory quotient more than or equal to 1.6 group. Overall, respiratory quotient combined with lactate served as an efficient indicator for the prognosis of septic shock secondary to pediatric primary peritonitis. The final conclusion of this study is both lactate and respiratory quotient are sensitive and specific indicators to predict mortality of septic shock secondary to pediatric primary peritonitis, and their combination exerted a higher prognostic accuracy. Our findings still need to be validated in large-scale, multi-center prospective studies. That's all for my report. Thank you for listening.